Good Thursday to you. I'm Storm Team 9 Meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with your ENC Weather Update. This one's for February the 20th, 2014. Overall, not too bad of a day. We did have clouds and periods of sunshine to go along with that as well. High temperatures today, even peaking into the upper 70s for our southern areas. Most areas into the lower 70s, and our northern areas into the 60s. Right on par with what we were thinking today as far as temperature spread was concerned. Now we're dealing with sea fog along the coast, and we're still talking about that potential for strong to even severe storms as we head into your Friday. But the weekend still is shaping up to be nice, and we'll talk about that possible cool down as we head towards the end of the month. All that coming up here in the forecast update video. Here's a look at Live Viper 9. We're showing you the line of storms that is rolling through the mid-Mississippi and southern Mississippi Valley this evening. Now moving through places like Memphis, moving towards Nashville, Jackson, Tennessee, approaching also down into northern Louisiana, on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, southern Mississippi, and stretching all the way up into Indianapolis. We have a tornado watch in effect basically from right along the Highway 82 corridor in Mississippi, actually the Highway 6 corridor, and points to the north, all the way up into to Louisville and even into Illinois and Indiana. Very dynamic system that we're dealing with here, and this is going to be translating towards us as we head into your day tomorrow. We're going to call it an enhanced risk for severe to strong to severe storms tomorrow across eastern Carolina. The main threat's going to be damaging wind gusts, and we've talked about that. We talked about that yesterday. A lot of wind energy with this system just above our heads, and all it takes is a pretty hefty downpour to bring that down to the surface in the form of a wind gust. We'll talk about the sustained winds as well, because even that's going to be fairly brisk as we head into the afternoon hours of your Friday. Heavy rain, not a big issue, but it's still there. And then the isolated tornado threat is also in the fold as we head into tomorrow afternoon, mainly along that initial line of storms. We're not talking about supercells. We're talking about these little spin-up tornadoes that could form along the edge of a line, edge of a Boeing segment. So we'll be watching for that and the evolution of how the line sets up as we head into tomorrow. Here's a look at the storm timeline and kind of outline the timing of this. Here's noontime. Starting to get into the I-95 corridor. There could be some showers trying to get on the board early in the morning, mainly south of US 70 and east of 17. I don't think that's going to be a big issue if it does happen. The main event comes as we head into the afternoon hours. Here's 3 o'clock, and a strong line of storms stretching from Ahoskie through Windsor all the way down towards Jacksonville and northern Onslow County, Duplin County involved with that as well. So that's when we're going to be talking about the potential for the strongest storms across the between the Highway 17 corridor and the I-95 corridor. Will be anywhere from about 1 to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But look how quick this gets offshore. This is about 7 o'clock, and most of it's offshore. The winds will turn westerly behind the front. It's still going to be quite brisk, and that's actually going to bring in some drier air and try to carve out the clouds by the latter half of the day. So you may even see a decent amount of sunshine behind the front, but the temperatures will start to tank by the time we head towards the latter half of the day. But it's going to be quite warm out ahead of this. A lot of moisture, a lot of instability with this, and on top of that, like I said, the winds are going to be howling. So we'll start off with the precision wind forecast as well. Look at that. Winds tomorrow morning, anywhere from 10 to 15, 20 mile per hour winds near the coast. And oddly enough, even with that, we're going to have sea fog to start off the morning. Even with the winds howling down there in down East Carteret County, we've seen the fog already starting to move inland through the last couple of hours. But like I said, 10, 15 mile per hour winds. So it's going to be breezy, but you won't be dealing with any issues tomorrow morning. The issues come tomorrow afternoon. Look at this. Friday afternoon, 12 o'clock. Winds straight out of the south. You see Roanoke Rapids, 25 mile per hour, 22 down in Morehead City. And this is possible sustained winds, anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour. Higher gusts right along that front as well as we head into the afternoon hours. Here we go at 3 p.m., that frontal boundary crossing Highway 17. And I think what's going to end up happening, the marine layer is also going to play a factor in this as this pushes eastward, east of Highway 17. Some of the storms may die down. So we're talking mainly west of Highway 17 for the potential for stronger storms. East of 17, it's just going to be pretty gusty, and also have some of these heavier downpours possibly translating some of the winds just above our heads down to the surface. But you see the winds shifting around to the west behind the frontal boundary. They do start to calm down as the front pushes offshore, but that won't happen until about 6-7 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So tonight, warm, mild, patchy fog in a few areas, especially for our coastal areas, the Bogue, Core, southern Outer Banks. That's where we're talking about that. Also the Crystal Coast. Tomorrow morning, patchy fog to start, and then we're talking about warm but dry and also breezy. We'll give it the green light, but red light comes into the fold as we head into the afternoon hours as the line of storms works from the west to the east. Few strong to possibly even severe storms. The main threat is going to be damaging wind gusts as that line pushes off towards the east. Heavy rain, not a huge factor. We'll call it about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. Damaging winds, mainly in the way of gust. As we head into the afternoon hours as that line pushes across the area. It's going to be the initial line, and once the line comes on top of you, things will start to calm down just a little bit. It's only going to be about a 20 to 30 minute window where that line's going to be extremely intense, and then it all starts to come down off of that. Then we also have the potential for that isolated tornado risk, and it's going to be mainly along the line. If there's any bowing segments, that's what we're going to be watching for. Here's a look at the high-resolution 4-kilometer NAM, and looking at the simulated composite reflectivity off of this. And I think this sometimes is a little overblown, but it still gives us a good idea of what we can expect as we head into tomorrow morning. This is 7 o'clock, and like I said, it's going to be dry. We're not going to have any issues tomorrow morning here across eastern Carolina, but look as we head towards 11. That line gets a little bit more segmented. That's something that we're going to watch as well as we head into the afternoon hours, but overall, it does try to reform heading across I-95. That's 12 o'clock, and very similar to our model. It was showing that line crossing the I-95 corridor, getting in towards about Greenville, about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Along that initial line, that's what we're going to be watching for that potential for that bowing segment. You see that one little kink right there? Now, I'm just going to give you a generalization here, but you see that one little kink there? Those kinks, that little bowing segment, that's what we're going to be watching for as we head into tomorrow. And you see some cells trying to form out ahead of the main line. Now, I think that may be a little bit aggressive because of the fact that we're going to have a lot of cooler air coming off of the marine layer. So that's going to be one of those things that we watch as well. But a very solid line pushing through here through the afternoon hours of Friday. And then we go out towards about 4 o'clock. Most of it's off, moving east of Highway 17 at that point. Then we go out towards about, that would be 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Pretty much everything's offshore. So the modeling in good agreement on timing. Just a lot of wind energy that could be associated with this. All right, here's a look at the 12Z GFS run. This is valid for tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. And once again, there's your main piece of energy up here towards the north. And the main portion of it's all going to be moving up towards the north and east. And we just kind of get a glancing blow on the southern edge of this. This little piece down here is going to be what kind of glances us. But you see this also out ahead of it. That is going to be your squall line pushing through, but we just kind of get a glancing blow of the main event that is going to be pushing off towards the north and east. So the main dynamics well up towards the north, and we just kind of get a glancing blow, but there's still going to be the potential for damaging winds. And even there, you see some diffluence there in the spread as far as the 500 millibars are concerned. So that's another thing that we're watching, that there is some diffluence there. There is the potential for severe weather tomorrow, so we're not downplaying it by any means. There's still going to be the potential for severe weather tomorrow here across eastern Carolina. Main time frame looks to be late morning into the afternoon hour. That energy gets lifted off towards the north. We go into more of a zonal flow by the time we head towards Saturday. High pressure will try to reestablish itself as we head into the afternoon hours of Saturday. It looks like it'll be a nice day. I think we'll start off with partly cloudy skies, maybe a slim chance for a shower for the coastal areas. But overall, mid-60s with sunshine breaking back out by the afternoon. Here's Sunday afternoon, zonal flow in full control here. So overall, not too bad. We're going to have fairly parallel zonal flow, nothing major coming on. Still will have high pressure and control, but you're starting to get on the backside, what we call the dirty side of the high. So we'll start off with sunshine, but clouds will build in by the afternoon hours of Sunday. Still mid-60s, so not too bad out there as far as temperatures are concerned. But you see this another piece of energy diving southward right through here. That's something that we're going to watch as we head towards the week, the first portion of the week. So we stay in this active west-northwest flow, and you kind of see different pieces of energy. Here's one here, another one up here. near Montana. So it continues with this this active northwest flow. But look what happens here out towards the west. The ridge starts to pump up again. So warmer air is starting to come back into the western half of the United States. But with that, like I said, a little piece of energy that was just to our north is going to try to bring down the 540 line into the state. You see the 540 line right there? And that's going to bring down the temperatures just a touch. I think on that day we may only make it to the mid-50s for Monday afternoon. Still a tough call as we go into Tuesday, but you see how the ridge really pumps up here in the western half of the United States. And you've got this full latitude trough kind of trying to develop in the eastern half. Little piece of energy will try to come up towards the north as we head towards Tuesday evening. I think we'll still be with a mix of sun and clouds, probably more clouds than sun. Highs in the mid-50s. There will be a chance for showers as you kind of see here moving into the southern half of the state. The European a little bit more aggressive with that. This is Wednesday morning, and man, oh man, look at how that ridge pumps up and the trough comes south. And that looks interesting. That would be even cooler as we head towards Wednesday. GFS showing a system offshore at that point and moving away from us. And I'll back it up here to show you what that could do for us. That would just be mainly just rain here early on Wednesday morning, as temperatures would be above freezing on Wednesday morning. But like I said, that's deepening and moving offshore as we head towards next week, and really kind of moves off and out of here by the time we head towards Thursday. The next thing that we're going to kind of make a mention of is, once again, that full latitude trough right through here, but you've got that ridge pumping up here in the western half of the United States. And what ends up happening, a little piece of energy kind of comes off of the Pacific coast, and it's going to migrate southward. Well, not that far south, but you get the idea. It's going to migrate southward as we go into late in the period. That's interesting. This is a very similar setup as what we had with the first snow system at the beginning of at the end of January, where we had the split flow kind of setting up, where you had one piece of energy coming off of one area, and then you had the main core piece up to the north, and that was actually bringing down the cooler air. And as we go out to the end of the forecast period, you see that piece of energy coming across the Four Corners region. The flow pattern's kind of like this. Now the ensemble is not really picking up on this, except for some of the European ensembles which are picking up on this, and the European is much deeper and much stronger with this, and quicker as well. The European gets it in here by Saturday, which would be an interesting look. And like I said, that would be a colder look for us as we head towards the end of the forecast period. And you see that little piece of energy kind of shunting some another system down here in the southern stream, and that would be possibly moving up towards the north with the flow pattern. You see the 540 line kind of in there. So needless to say, it's something that we're watching. It's out there, and we'll have the cold air. You see this big cold pocket of air up here. So there's a lot of things that could happen over the next couple of days, but we're still way out from that. But we do think that the cold air is going to be on the way. Now, whether or not what happens out here with the second stream setting up the split flow, like I said, we're just kind of looking out here for trends, not really necessarily forecasting this, but we're watching it, needless to say. It's a little far out there to kind of put in anything in ink. It's all in pencil at this point. That's going to do it for me here on the ENC Weather Update. You can stay up to date with us, Facebook, Twitter, WNCT.com, especially with the potential for storms tomorrow. Also, our brand new Storm Team 9 app. It brings you the warnings right to your phone. It uses the GPS signal in your phone. If you're inside of a warning polygon, you get the warning. If you aren't, you don't. Great information. And also, you can track the storms right there in the app itself. And that's free in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Have a great rest of your evening, a safe day tomorrow, and a great weather week ahead.